What's going on, guys? Joey here to talk about the new Gorillaz album that was just released not too long ago. And this is kind of what I'm going to be doing with the channel now. I'm still going to be doing covers or acoustic covers and original songs here and there, but I kind of want to do like album reviews and maybe like vlogs talking about music, just some random stuff like music related, just whatever I could think of. But this is gonna be like my first album review. It's not really a review, but more like a discussion. So hope you enjoy it. And basically just wanted to talk about this album. I've been a Gorillaz fan for a long time, and ever since I was a kid, when the when that song "Feel Good Inc." came out, that was my jam. I was like 10 years old in elementary school, listening to the Gorillaz like every day. I think Demon Days was my first introduction to the Gorillaz, and I always loved their unique sound and how how versatile they can get with the genres, with the hip hop and the rock mixed together. And I think Damon Albarn is a whatever you pronounce his name. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but whatever. He's English, but I think he's like a genius, and I'm a fan of what he does with the Blur. I haven't listened to the newer Blur songs, but I'm a huge fan of Damon and his work with the Gorillaz. So I was really anticipating this new album, especially since the last release, Plastic Beach, was probably my favorite Gorillaz album of all time. I think that was definitely their best album. But going into this album, I was a little bit skeptical. It's been a while since their last release, but I walked away really satisfied listening to this album. I've been listening to it nonstop for the past couple of weeks, and honestly, I think it's on par or maybe even better than Plastic Beach and Demon Days, which a lot of people think are their best album. I disagree with that, but get into that later. But this album is really, really good. Definitely, probably the best Gorillaz album that they've released. There's just so much going on. A lot of people hate on it because there's so many contributions from other artists. There's Vince Staples. There's what's his name, Pusha T. Sorry, I don't know. I'm not that familiar with these rappers on this album particularly, but Vince Staples, Pusha T. There's Danny Brown, which I'm a fan of some of his music, and I think they all do a great job, like going along with the style of the Gorillaz, because Gorillaz kind of have their own unique kind of sound for them, or style, I should probably say, and they all like kind of blend together nicely with this album, and you could tell right off the bat when you listen to the first track with Vince Staples, Ascension, what you're kind of getting into, and that song immediately like sucks you in. It's a nice upbeat song. Vince does some pretty good rapping in there, and it's not really what I'm used to from the Gorillaz. It's a little bit different. It's more like a party kind of song, you know. But it's really good. It's a really good way to start off the album. And the next song, one of their singles, Saturn Burns, I think it's one of the best tracks on the album. Definitely, I love the fusion of reggae music that they do in this song, and Damon's vocals come in nicely too. I really expect Damon's style to kind of mesh together well with the reggae influence that the song has. I know Gorillaz did they did a little bit of reggae influenced songs in the past, but this one really came out really nicely, and definitely one of the best on the album. Andromeda is another one of my favorite songs on the album as well. I love the female vocals on this, and it's pretty amazing to me. Like all the beats that were made in this album were just made on an iPad. That's just mind blowing. There's so much variety and so much. It feels like a full band is making these songs, or a full production team. It's kind of mind blowing when you think it's just Damon himself just with an iPad making all these sounds himself. It just really shows the scope of his talent and skill when it comes to producing and songwriting too. So I don't understand why this album gets so much hate that it does. A lot of hardcore Gorilla fans aren't happy with this album. I think it's not to keep repeating myself, but I think it's definitely one of their best albums, if not their best album as of late. And a few other songs that I like on here. Busted in Blue is a nice soft ballad, something you don't really expect from Gorillaz. They don't usually do soft, sad ballads, but Damon's vocals, as always, are phenomenal. You know, it really sucks you in. It gets you. It's a really moody song. Not really sure what the meaning behind it is, but you can sense the emotion coming out of it, and it's really good. And lyrically, instrumentally, this whole album is amazing. And Pusha T's contribution in the song, what's it called? Let Me Out. I think it's pretty amazing. I'm not the biggest fan of Pusha T, but his last release, his last album was pretty good. I will admit, but he really goes in on this song. He talks about some serious issues that everybody goes through in life, worrying if you're going to outlive your nephew and your niece or your kids or whoever it is it may be for you. Worrying about dying in the streets, being killed by the police. That's actually one of the lyrics from that song. And I just love the fact that Gorillaz put these issues into the album and still make it enjoyable. They didn't try to make another To Pimp a Butterfly with a politically a politically influenced album to make a statement or whatever. This album is enjoyable. It doesn't really have a concept behind it, but there's a lot of issues, like political issues and civil issues that it brushes up on, and I like that because even though it's not a concept album, all the songs feel like they mesh together well, and it kind of does feel like it in a way, if that makes any sense. But there's a lot of variety, a lot of different influences, a lot of different topics. Sex, Money, Murder, that's another one of my favorite songs. Nice beat going on in that. I love the hook on that song, and Damon's performance, and the other contributions on there as well. It really comes together nicely. And another one of my favorite songs, She's My Caller, definitely one of the best of the album, I think. I know I say that a lot, but there's a lot of good songs on this album, and that's definitely on top, one of the top best ones. It's such a weird song. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's one of those songs you just have to listen to yourself and pretty much see how you feel for it. Can't really determine what it's about. Guessing Damon's talking about this girl that he takes around with her everywhere, and he can't, she's his caller. He can't go anywhere without her, and they're pretty much inseparable. And amazing hook on it. It kind of reminds me of the old school Gorillaz, like the Demon Days era. Like I could easily see this song being in Demon Days, or one of their older albums. That's kind of what I feel about this album. It's definitely a lot different from their older albums. This whole album as a whole, but it's at the same time it's a culmination of what the Gorillaz have become up to this point. They've been around for almost 20 years. I think they formed in 1998 or something, so it'll be 20 years next year. And this album is like a culmination. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Please don't make fun of me. But it's like a melting pot of all the different influences, all the different sounds they experimented with, and it's all in this one big melting pot. And it's like, for a Gorillaz fan like myself, this album was it. It definitely delivered. They definitely delivered on this album, and I'm really satisfied. I walked away satisfied from it, and it was worth the what was it, 4 or 5 year wait for this album to come out. Really satisfied, and I'm looking forward to the next release by the Gorillaz. The only thing I would say, it's obviously not perfect. There are some songs, there are some, the interludes kind of don't really make sense to me. I guess there's kind of like a radio kind of thing they're doing. I'm not sure, kind of similar to the Danger Days by My Chemical Romance, but it's not really working for me, and it kind of depletes the momentum that the album, you know, that the album provides with a great song after great song, and then they have these little skits or these little what do you call it, interludes that kind of just almost ruins it for me. But still, great album. The last track I'm not too crazy about. It's not bad or anything, but it's not really what's it called? Forgive me, guys. I have terrible memory. We Got the Power. I know it has something to do with power, but like I said, not a bad track. Just not the best way to end an album this good. So it kind of like depletes the momentum that the album gained up to that point. But overall, amazing album. Don't know why it's getting so much hate, and it's not really getting hate. A lot of mixed reviews. Some people hate it, some people love it. Needle Drop, he's a really big YouTuber. He actually gave this album a really low score. I was surprised, and what I'm worried about is people are gonna look at his review and think, "Oh, this album sucks," because he has like almost 1 million subscribers. A lot of people obviously watch him. They obviously value his opinion. But I watched his review first before even listening to it, and it didn't stop me from listening to the Gorillaz from the new album and liking it. You really just gotta form your own opinion. Don't listen to me or Needle Drop or anybody. Just listen to it for yourself, and that's pretty much what I'm gonna say like about all my reviews, all the future music reviews that I'll be making for this channel. Just go by your own opinion. I just like to bring out my views on music, and hopefully people will be interested in hearing it. If not, then I probably just wasted 20 minutes of my time, but I don't really have anything better to do, so yeah. That's my review. If I had to rate this album out of 5, I'd probably give it like a 3.5 out of 5. Very enjoyable album. Far from perfect, obviously. A lot of pitfalls here and there, but overall, great album. The Gorillaz are still consistent as they always were, and I have yet to hear a bad album from them. So hopefully they'll release another one soon. But I'll probably be back next week with another music review. Maybe not a well-known band like the Gorillaz, somebody more or less known, because there's probably 100 of these reviews scattered all over YouTube. Nobody's probably even going to see this, but still, I figured I'd give it a shot and express my opinion on it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.